baby. So listen, I got a word for you. God is saying the past is a setup, okay? The past was a setup to get you to where you are. But I want you to understand that you cannot return back. You cannot go back to your old ways. You cannot go back to the things that used to be fun to you, okay? You cannot go and entertain the old people any longer. You cannot go back, okay? What you have to understand is going back is like you giving up on yourself. Okay, choosing to gravitate back into your old ways is like giving up on yourself, okay? You have to remember the story about Lot's wife, okay? God told them to move into the promised land, but do not look back. She looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. So you have to understand that when you have leveled up and you have grown spiritually in God, okay, there are always going to be people, places, and things that are still going to be in the past. And sometimes you will come across these people. And in those moments, you have to understand that it is two universes, okay, colliding. And you have to choose whether or not you're going to stay in your universe or you're going to allow the person to have you gravitate to their universe. Okay, everybody's perception, everybody's way of living is different. This is the reason why the Bible says when you choose a spouse, do not be with someone who is unequally yoked, because what your values are, what your morals are, how you live your daily life, it is not aligned to how they live their daily life and what they believe in and whose they are, okay? Then it will cause you to enter into their world, okay? And entering into their world means that you are no longer on the path that God has designed for you. So you cannot go back. There is no going back. You have to continue to move forward. And in moving forward, that means that you do not diminish who you are anymore. That means that you have to open up your mouth. That means you have to speak your truth. That means you have to allow the frequency in the room to shift when you walk in. You have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to be comfortable with who you are. And you have to be willing to make some people upset. Okay? Because them being upset is about them, not about you. Okay? You have to be you. And you have to understand that when you are walking the path of righteousness and you are walking this life out with God, okay, and you are tapped into the Creator, okay, you don't have to just believe in yourself, okay? You're believing in yourself and you're believing in God, and you have faith that He is the ultimate source. So everything that He has told you to do, it is beneficial, not just to you, but to everyone. So therefore, you have to be confident in that in which God is telling you to do. You have to be confident in which God is telling you to say. And sometimes, you know, it may feel a little uncomfortable in your body, but you have to understand that you still have to do what God is telling you to do, because the more you do it uncomfortable, the more comfortable you will become. The more you do it uncomfortable, the more comfortable you will become. And as soon as you get comfortable in doing that thing, I want you to know God is going to send you to a new level, because this is all about growth. This is all about moving forward. If you are going to reach the highest expression of yourself, if you are going to ultimately be an influence to generations and generations to come, you have to understand it's going to require for you to continue to stretch. It is going to require for you to continue to grow. And so you cannot go back. The past was a setup. It was a setup to get you to where you are. And don't look back, don't swerve to the right, and don't swerve to the left. You have to understand that God is using you in this season to be a vessel. Okay, He is using you so that to make manifest the glory of God that is within you. He is using you so that people can see the goodness of His works. You are a prime example of what God can do in this life. You are a prime example of what God can do in this life. But a lot of times we don't see the value in the struggle. We don't see the value of being in the cocoon. You have to understand that God puts you in certain places and hides you in plain sight because He's protecting you. A lot of times we look in our lives and we say, you know, I don't have a male figure who is protecting me. You have to understand that your earthly father is protecting you. So if you have not come across your husband, if you have not come across your spouse, you need to understand that it's because God is preserving you. You need to understand that God is preserving you. God is hiding you. Everything that is behind the behind the counter and is hidden is of value. God has not sent him to you because you are of value. God still has you in his wings. God still has you. He still has you in his wings. He is still hovering over you, and he will not stop hovering over you. He will not raise his wing until the man or to the woman that he has chose for you presents himself in the right standing and the right order of God. You cannot go back to your past. You cannot go back to your old ways. And in not going back, that means that you have to show up as God is telling you to show up. If there is something that you know, you have to speak it. If there is something God is telling you to do, you have to do it. You have to be bold. You have to be courageous. It is not an ask. It is not a request. God said, I have commanded you to be courageous. That is a command. That is not an ask. That means you must. That means you must. So in this walk that you are doing with God, you have to understand that you are not going back. Like I said, sometimes it will be uncomfortable to speak and do the things that God is telling you to do, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you will become. And the more comfortable you become, the more higher God will raise you. Because it is a time such as this for the people of God to continue to stand firm in what God is calling them to do. The world has shifted, and it is our time to show that we are the children of the light. Truth, love, and transparency always coming from your girl. Go on with your day. Remember, you're big blessed. In the comment section, I want you to type, sis, I am not going back. Okay, I am not going back. The past was a setup. Okay, make sure to repost this. Someone needs to hear it. Okay, and follow your girl, because you can always count on truth, love, and transparency coming from me. Now, always remember, you're big blessed. But until next time, I want you to stay in peace and not in